What is up, my fellow viewers? I am Dan Crunch Gamer, and welcome back to the Expedition Development Series. Today is not episode 4, unfortunately, but I am doing a little update. Well, not little, but a update episode because there are a lot of things that I have posted on my Discord updates for Expedition that have happened since episode 3 that I have not posted on YouTube yet. So I'm going to do that. Um, as you can tell, this video is not as scripted and might not be entirely, or some. We'll see how it goes. Because scripting it just takes more time, you know? So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so this video is going to be more of a podcast sort of video, not really many visual things, because honestly I kind of like making this format better, and it kind of helps you guys because it gives me better motivation because it's it's just better for me because I don't like editing videos, and this just allows me to talk unscripted, so, or mostly unscripted. So yeah, that's this is gonna be more of a podcast, so just turn it on and listen. Thanks. I hope you guys like this format. Um, let me know. Well, my Discord let me know because I have comments turned off. But let me know. Uh, I hope you guys like it because this is what I want to do. But thanks and enjoy the video. So right now I'm literally just scrolling through my videos to see the corrections that I need to make. The first thing are gliders. They're mostly the same, but instead of just crafting them out of like feathers and tendons or whatever, you'll find this suit somewhere in the overworld. That's the idea that I'm going for right now. Kind of like the harvester. Like it's kind of like the paraglider. It's an item that's given to you, and you wouldn't have to repair it. Unlike I think what I said in the last video, and to make it unique, you would add different items to it, like feathers, to give it special bonuses. Might it not be realistic? Sure, I'll have to. I'm. It's still a work in process, but it doesn't have to be realistic. I mean, every single equipment bonus isn't. So, yeah. All right. I should probably talk about adaptations. I'm not really thinking about them much right now. I will give a little bit more information. I'm thinking that they'll be um, well, yeah, they're more realistic. As I said in episode 1, you can check out episode 1 if you want. Um, but basically, like for example, if you get hit enough times, you'll gain chest calluses. I know you can get hit in places other than your chest, but it's a generality, okay? Uh, you'll get chest calluses, which will reduce damage you take from attacks, or foot calluses, which can reduce specifically fall damage, or reduce damage from walking on, I don't know, like thorns or something, uh, or techniques, not just body adaptations. You adapt by shifting your survival techniques. Like if you fall, instead of just standing up straight, you would bend your knees to dissipate the shock, which would help. That's an idea. That one specifically might not be in the game, but you know that's an idea. And that's really all I have to say on adaptations for now. They're not a focus in my mind right now for Expedition. I have bigger focuses. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Let's keep going. Oh, facilities. Oh, facilities. So they won't. That won't. So okay, I scrapped the facility idea. The story of Expedition, I will explain either in episode 4 or like later. But it's not that. It's different. There will be bosses, of course. What game is there without bosses? But not in the way originally I had it. Like there were genetically modified things that Ark made. But like, why is Ark trying to kill you right now? Yeah, so I modified the story quite a bit. And yeah, I'll get to that later. But yeah, there aren't really facilities. There aren't dungeons, really. I guess you could consider the dungeons just the quests, the the objectives in the area. So the dungeon itself is not a building, it is the wildlife and the habitat around you that you have to traverse. Take that with a grain of salt. This game is constantly updating, but that is where I'm going with this. Exploration, that's a topic that is yeah, I still want that to be a very big focus. I do think so. The third person view would be more for exploration, like taking in the view, and then the first person view would be more gameplay focused. Um, and I'm saying there would be both because Grounded has both. I think Grounded 2 also has both. I'm not sure on that one, but I'm pretty sure it does. And the world, the overworld. Yep, still the entire world. Don't know how I'm gonna manage that. Deep sea is probably not. It'd be cool if I could, but it would just be really empty. To be fair, though, Flight Simulator did the entire surface of the ocean, so I don't think it would be impossible. Um, so yeah, Overworld, that's still ambitious, still there, and yeah. All right, let's move on. Oh yeah, and also combat. Yep, dodging's still in there, like Breath of the Wild. There's no flurry rushes or anything for dodging. It's just getting out of the way. And also, or maybe because now that I've played Grounded 2, the Grounded 2 dodging system without the focusing would be better. Yeah, now that I think about that, I might implement that. You can see that the development process is kind of sporadic. No, erratic, whatever. Um, I make up things on the fly. Uh, that's what it is. Like if I'm talking to my friend, like I'm brainstorming ideas or just like talking about expedition, I'm like, wait, that's actually a better idea than what I had originally. So I just came up with an idea right then and there, a few seconds ago in this video. So you can tell how sporadic this process is. And also, enemies are animals. That's what they're called, animals. I don't I don't think there will be human enemies. Probably not. I don't want to guarantee that there won't, but probably not. I wouldn't bet on it. There also will be some plants and fungi that can hurt you, because I think that's well fungi. I'm pretty sure there are fungi that can hurt you, but also plants like cacti. That's a thing, and that will be a thing. Wait, I already explained that in episode 3. Whatever. I went over it. Now you know for the second time. Okay, habitats. I like when I said that habitats and biomes aren't the same thing. I might need to double check that because there are probably different sources that say different things. Um, but yeah, uh, bio. Wait. Oh, now that I think about it, so biome is a from the biology course I'm taking. Biome is more of an objective term, and habitat is more of a subjective term to like yeah, because the like a frog, its habitat could just be a leaf or tadpoles or whatever. But you know, a squirrel could be. It could have multiple habitats. Well, is it? Oh my gosh, I think I'll still call them habitats, but I don't know what my cats are doing, but they're doing something. Anyways, um, yeah. So I think they'll probably still be called habitats. And then I also mentioned custom habitats. I think I know what I was talking about there. I don't know if I recall it fully. I can only think of one, which I'm not going to disclose today, and may or may not be coming to the game. I don't know. So yeah, That's habitats. Next category. All right, the thing with landmarks, yes. So things like Mount Everest, those are called wonders because like they're they're landmarks, but they're not like small enough and like stand outy enough in the way that landmarks are. I don't know how to define it, but I think you guys know what I mean. Landmarks still the same. Um, so yeah, and the both wonders and landmarks are under the category of locations, and locations and habitats are under the same category as places. Very basic name, but that's what they're called. May change that, but that's what they are right now. Oh boy, settlements. Or villages, whatever you want to call them. That's a hard one. I'm thinking. So originally, my idea was that they would build them like out of trees and stuff, but now I'm thinking, why don't they just use the ruins of like neighborhoods, or as I'm thinking, the the Kavanaugh Lake, Kavanaugh, whatever it is, Lake Kavanaugh in Washington. There's like a not huge, but there's a community around it, and that could be a settlement. But like they live in the ruined houses, and they maybe like they patch up some places with wood or something. And I'm honestly still deciding whether the Lake Kavanaugh community would be destroyed in the threat of expansion era or not. What is that? We'll get to that. Just yeah, we'll get to that. Okay, upgrades. So there will be upgrades to the harvester. You find like documents about how they research the harvester. Like I'll get into that now that I think about it. I'll get into that later. But yeah, there will be documents about the harvester which will help you upgrade the harvester. Adding keratin to weapons is something that I don't know if I'll do. I kind of want to do it. We'll see. It'd be cool, but I don't know. So yeah, that's the upgrades. The next one is quests. Okay, quests. I do want to be in expedition. That would be cool, but I don't think they're gonna be called quests. I would like call them objectives or tasks. Like main objective, then side objective, and then side task for like the really small things. You could think of like main quests in Tears of the Kingdom as main objectives, then side objectives as side adventures, then side quests as side tasks. That also another thing I just came up with on the spot. So, uh, yeah, I do want that to be an expedition. I don't know how I'm going to implement it though, so we'll see how it goes. I do want it to be an expedition though, and I do want there to be rewards. I don't know how I would do it though. Okay, so everything I said about the FTLUR is true, except. Sorry, I yawned. So I don't think it will be faster than the speed of light. It should be ridiculously fast though. Like I didn't realize how fast the speed of light was. I think I might have mixed it up with the speed of sound. But I also probably just didn't realize how fast the speed of light is. It would probably go faster than the speed of sound though, because it's fast travel. The speed of sound is like 767 miles per hour or something like that. But some places are farther than that per hour. So, and obviously it should only take like a few minutes. So that's how the FTL UR is going to be. And also, I don't know what I called it. It's not fast and light anymore, so it's not the FTL UR. But I don't remember what I called it. I called it something, but I don't remember exactly. Um, I'll get to that at some point. It's not really that important. You do have to find the places to travel to unlock those areas. How? I don't know because that doesn't really make sense. I mean, underground it would be fine because it wouldn't be degraded by the apocalypse. I don't know, but I gotta find that out. That's a plot hole that I just thought of. Great. I love solving plot holes. Anyways, and the less powerful fast travel, that could be cool, but I don't know if it would be. I don't know if it'll be added. Wouldn't get your hopes up, but could be, could not be. I don't know. Yep, playable characters. That's also a thing. No character customization because I want it to be. I want it to be a character with personality, and I don't want it to just be you. I want it to be a preset person, like in Grounded. So not in like Hogwarts Legacy where it's just you essentially. So yeah, the same people are there, and Mike is heavily based on me. So yeah, I think that's it for episode 1. Yeah, I think that's it. So I think we can move on to episode 2 where I have a lot of corrections. Oh boy. Okay, so I have the video of episode 2 on the side. So I'm just gonna go through it, and I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go through this video, and I'm going to make corrections as I go. So let's do it. Okay, so I'm just gonna go completely off the video, and I'm just gonna go off like whenever I tell the story of Expedition, the prelude story. I always do it in this way. So there are 3 parts. There's the scientific advancements, the threat of expansion era, and the great decolonization. So the first thing is I'm looking at my thing right now, the scientific advancements. So first thing, harvesting. You pump adrenaline through cells, and then chemicals that promote the cell cycle, guide it with guiding chemicals, whatever those are, and it overduplicates, so you can duplicate animal parts. I say the cell cycle because mitosis is a part of the cell cycle. It's what splits it apart, but the cell cycle is what actually duplicates everything. So, yeah. There's CRISPR Advanced, which is a method of genetically modifying things. I don't remember what the method I said in the video was, or if I even said a genetic modification method at all, but this one is CRISPR Advanced. Instead of using case 9, which is like a no, not a polynuclease. It's a nuclease that's found in like a bacteria or something. If you don't know what a nuclease is, I barely do. To my knowledge, it's like scissors for DNA. It just like cuts them, and you can insert things when you want. CRISPR Genetics used simple hybrid polynuclease, which acted the same, but it could be found in natural hybrids, so it was way easier to get and was more efficient. Turns out, it could, some of the so it was cohesive. I think that's what it is when 2 different things stick together. No, is it adhesive? I don't know. It's sticky, and it could stick to the DNA, and it's also capable. And it was also capable of changing the chemical structure of the nucleotide bases, the little sticks in between the swirly thing of the DNA, which is what determines is what determines what proteins are made, and thus, how you're formed. So it could cause mutations. Potentially to the entire chromosome, which is a lot of DNA. It's just like a lot of DNA all jumbled up in an X shape, and it's a lot of DNA. So, yeah, and also it's random, so That's my excuse. That's my excuse for a lot of the kind of unrealistic mutations that happen in Expedition. That's my excuse. It's random. Yeah. Um, but yeah, so this is what made the double winged false fruit fly, which, I mean, yeah, it's what made the double winged false fruit fly, and then also is what made the fungus. I don't remember what I called it. No, I called it tranquilizing fingers. I called it a neozoid in the next video. Now it's a plant because it just has roots. But yeah. Um, so yeah, that's what CRISPR genetics is. Nuclear man's power. Basically, so the nuclear batteries, to my knowledge, they use like radioactive. It's a battery that uses radioactive power. I would have to look into that, but you know, basically it's a nuclear battery. But a German scientist, he got Cryptococcus neoformans yeast, which is a yeast it's a real yeast that's theorized to eat radiation because it's found in the Chernobyl ruins. It's theorized to eat radiation or use it for metabolism. In my game, it does, and it's quite efficient at it. And yeah, it's basically you just put it in with the battery, and it eats some of the radiation. And so you can put more, and so you can put deadlier or more potent radioactive material and still retain the same safety. And you can do an osmium shield, which is like it's twice as dense as lead, which is what is usually used to protect against gamma rays, radiation. So theoretically, it would be, it would you would need like about half of it to achieve the same effect. Don't fact check me on this. It's a science fiction game. I don't want to go on another spiral. Um, so yeah, that is Nucleoformans power, and that's what powers things like the Harvester, and stuff like that. And the yeast. I'm losing my train of thought. I think the yeast also has to have other stuff, but it just gets it passively from the air. So, or yeah, it gets it from the air or something. Maybe it's connected to the ground. I don't know. Like the harvester, it can harvest atoms as well and molecules, so it could feed some of that to the Cryptococcus neoformans. So, yeah, and that's what would keep it alive. So yeah, I think that's all. But also there's the underground FTLUR thing. Oh right, I called it the Transcontinental Tunnel System. Might change that, but basically, it's what yeah, that's what I described it as. But it was discovered when humanity found it really deep underground, just a huge tunnel system. Don't know how it formed, water erosion maybe, and like in the lore, they don't know how it formed. Theorized to be water erosion or lava or something like that. And they thought, this would be cool to use as like a transcontinental tunnel system, like what it is in the game. So that's what they did, and now we have fast travel. Hooray! So yeah, and that is that's what it is, and that's okay. So that's the scientific advancements. Now we get on to the threat of expansion era. Okay, so the threat of expansion era is basically summarized in. I can summarize it by animals got mad that they just got fed up that humanity was pushing them out so far because they just kept expanding. So they retaliated by killing a lot of people. The estimated the initial like sort of conflict started in 2044, so the dates are pushed back a lot. A lot of the scientific advancements, by the way, happened in 2030. And then the official declaration of the threat of expansion era was in 2047, so 3 years later. So the situation started in India, and then it happened in the United States, and then Europe, South America, Indonesia, all those places, and it was bad. So the UN decided to. So the UN, they came up with a plan, the very wise plan of funding a very small company that was formed prior to even the initial conflicts in fear of this very event. Does that make sense in real life? I think it could. I think it could. It makes enough sense. And they would work together. They created wild areas, which are basically like places where nature can roam free, where little to no human architecture was to be built. There's let's see. I'm sorry, I'm blanking. Oh yeah, Harmonious Planet. Sorry. Bioplanet was the original name for the Christian company. Now it's Harmonious Planet. They're still Christian, because that's what I am. But yeah, they're called Harmonious Planet now. And they also made facilities. They made geological surveyors, which use the lasers and sonar for underwater. I'm thinking that like they use like the drones, like it sends a drone up, it shoots lasers out continuously until it hits the pillars that tell it when to stop, and then it makes the 3D map within those pillars. So wild areas, above ground civilization expansion halted, and then also underground homes began construction. So because obviously you can't expand above ground because the animals will get mad again. So they decided to do underground housing, but it for gameplay purposes it didn't start until 2065, which is 10 years before the Great Decolonization in 2075. And very few of them were actually completed, and very few of them were even started, and even fewer were actually completed. This is for the purpose of, because the bacteria that was made, I think it was bacteria that I decided it was going to be the thing that destroyed human architecture, whatever it was. Now it's bacteria, but whatever I called it in the other video, if it destroyed that, then it would just cause a bunch of like sinkholes, and it just wouldn't be fun. Because like I want above ground ruins, like a neighborhood. Like, hey, that's my neighborhood, but it's in ruins now. So yeah, I decided it like there wouldn't be a lot. And then also the estimated casualties was 750 million casualties from the threat of expansion era. But those casualties were outdone by the Great Decolonization, and also the official joke names for the threat of expansion era, which this is what I think of in my head, are the threat expansion of era and the threat of expansion of era, obviously. Okay, so now the Great Decolonization. This is what I referred to as the apocalypse, but I gave it a cooler name. It's the Great Decolonization. More colloquially known as the apocalypse, but it's the Great Decolonization. So, the Great Decolonization was orchestrated by John, last name, I don't know what his last name should be, but And in 2073, two rogue Harmonious Planet employees went to the Native American tribe John was a part of and told the tribe they were told to watch over them. This was a lie, obviously, and then they shot one of the tribes members, and the rest of the tribe in retaliation killed the employees because it's self-defense. Like, they shouldn't have been doing that. But well, okay, maybe I would. Well, maybe it's not moral to kill. I don't know. I'm not going to discuss morals, but yeah. So that was the thing that set him off. He convinced people to of the dangers of Harmonious Planet, which that shouldn't have happened. It was a huge misunderstanding. They didn't bother reporting it to either the UN or the government or Harmonious Planet because he didn't think any of them would listen. So he got a job, an undercover job at Harmonious Planet, and he convinced people of the dangers of Harmonious Planet. And then the thing ensued. They made a virus. They bioengineered a virus that would make the animals extremely aggressive towards humans. Does that sound familiar? It's because I think I remember it was Domigrecivium in in the original video. It is still Domigrecivium, but that's the name for a virus now. Other names for it are the Domaggressive rabies virus and the bionomal name Lyssavirus domaggressive. Lyssavirus is a genus of rabies viruses, but this is the genetically modified one. And then the bacterium, which I don't remember what it was that destroyed human architecture, but now it's a bacterium. Right now it's called plastivore bacterium, but it doesn't just eat plastic, so I don't know why I thought that. Its bionomal name is Ideonella dialima, something that confused my sister and her friends. Like, how do you pronounce that? It's Ideonella dialima, obviously. But anyways, and that comes from Ideonella sacchiensis, which is actually a real bacteria that eats plastic. Or I think can. I think it can. Is it theorized or is it? I don't know. But this one can just eat everything. So yeah. Also, a bionomal name is what is known as scientific name. But I like bionomal name better because it's cooler. And then I should also probably mention POR, prehistoric organism reconstruction. It was formed in 2030. Yep, they used CRISPR advanced. And yeah, they had a contract with Harmonious Planet. In 2055, they went under contract with Harmonious Planet for them to take care of the organisms they created. They had gone under contract with other companies before, but this was a bigger deal because it had enhanced Harmonious Planet's already huge power. This is because they became huge after the threat of expansion era. All organisms given to other companies were transferred to Harmonious Planet's care. They disagreed with a lot of what POR was doing. They were okay with creating organisms to help society, but they didn't like POR doing it just for pleasure and profit. And also the CRISPR advanced, basically you freeze. So what is it? You freeze a newly formed zygote, and then you modify their DNA, and then you unfreeze it to let it grow. So like the Allosaurus and the Dilophosaurus, which are now called something different because they're not exactly the same. They came from a Somali ostrich embryo, I believe, is what I said. I don't know where I wrote that, but where did I write that, actually? Oh, yes, the base sperm and egg they used was a Somali ostrich. Now that I think about it, why? Oh, that's a contradiction. Here it says they modified the sperm and egg, but in the other thing, it's they modified the zygote. I'll have to do that. But yeah. So that is back to the Great Decolonization. That was a big tangent. So the virus would cause the animals to kill them secretly, so they wouldn't get in trouble. They were trying to help the world in an unethical way, but they thought it was ethical because, you know. And then the bacterium would, break the fences, keeping the animals in. And then they would also hijack so a lot of the facilities and zoos and stuff had fences around the area to, like, in emergency, to not let the animals out if they escaped. But they would open up the fences, the space in between the bars would open up if they saw a human, because they were aligned with little tiny cameras. The people hijacked those cameras so that they would only open up if they saw a black and white card, and not humans. So that's how you're trapped in the tutorial area. So the plan was carried out. Harmonious planet crumbled, but the virus and the bacterium experienced mutations unknown to anyone until it was too late. The virus and the bacterium's mutations made them far more invasive than originally designed, leaving Harmonious Planet and its employees not the only victim. So, yeah, and the mutations specifically, so for the bacterium, defects, it was bioengineered to have an incredibly short lifespan of about 45 minutes. However, it developed a mutation where it could resist its timed lifespan through the nutrients it absorbs through the various materials. Additionally, the bioengineered enzymes lost some of their strength and were only able to dissolve a material partially before moving on to the next material. Is that entirely realistic? I don't know, but I want there to be ruins and not just rubble. It's cooler that way. And Domicillium, the virus, it was designed to make it aggressive, right? It primarily fed on chemicals produced by the fight or flight response, like adrenaline. In this way, the virus had a motive to keep the animal alive to feed on its aggression. Another one of its designs was similar to that of normal rabies, where the animal would become aggressive but then die. This trait was also canceled due to mutations. The virus was meant to have a short lifespan, but it developed a really long lifespan. Well, it was supposed to die inside the animal, but it developed a mutation where if it was inside the animal and feeding on it, it could live for a while, and also it could live for more of a while traveling through the air, which is how it's inhaled by animals. The virus does not work on humans for gameplay reasons. The virus was also designed to die extremely quickly outside of the animal, but this trait was removed due to mutation, as I just said, and made even more extreme by the addition of a mutation that allowed it to spread through the exhalation, bodily excretions, and even the bodies themselves of animals, like if a lion eats a buffalo or something like that. Simply touching the latter two could result in the animal getting infected. Ooh. So yeah, those are the mutations, and that is the Great Decolonization. That's the story, and in this story, you don't work at the main facility. There is no main facility. Well, there might be a headquarters, but there's no like main facility. You start out in a minor facility in the Skagit County Wild area of Washington. I'll put a picture up on screen, but I'll put a picture up on screen, but it's not, how do I say it? It's minor. It's not a major facility. It's a minor facility. It has a double-crested erectosaur and a crested mesotyrant. And before you yell at me or snicker, get your brain out of the gutter, please. It's called erectosaur because it's an upright lizard, okay? I don't want to hear anything about it. Kids, if you don't understand, good. It's good that you don't understand it. People need to get their brain out of the gutter. Oh boy, now we get to episode 3. Okay, so I did patch notes in my Discord, where I looked at a lot of I looked at, I just changed things. I changed a lot of things. Also, I should mention that Harmonious Planet did not go into contract with Poor to like sue them. They just kind of did it because I mean they wanted to take care of the animals. They thought they would be the most ethical. I don't know. They give me a break, okay? Also, Ark is sorry, the Ark, yes, Association of Recreation. They're not called Ark anymore. They're not really called anything because they're just rogues. They're just the rogues. That's what they are. Not really anything. They're just the rogues. And yeah. So yeah. First, let's do the first patch that I did, which was actually wait, no, I can just look at this not on Discord. Hold up. Give me a second. Give me a second. Updates and patches. Here we go. Everything's fine. So basically, wait, yeah, okay. So, oh wait, no, that's still not it. Oh, I should also probably mention, the tranquilizing fingers can kill you if you sleep in the wrong places. Get your brain out of the gutter, please. It can kill you if it puts you to sleep in, the wrong places. Like you can freeze to death or just go to sleep and, a dinosaur eats you or something. I don't know. And then, so yes, here's the first patch. So protists in patch 0.030.100. That's a mouthful. First, dog vomit slime mold. The spawns have been tweaked. They now rarely spawn on plants without bark, as if I have any of those right now. But you know what I mean. Spawns across the board are now more rare. I've only seen one once in real life, which is honestly surprising. I was like, hey, that's dog vomit slime mold. It's in my game. But yeah. I think they're supposed to be rare. I don't know. Habitat description is now changed to be broader and clearer. Its habitat description now says wood, deadwood, and non-bark plants. Maybe I'll change that. I don't know. Turkey tail, the fungus. Habitat changed to be broader and clearer. Its habitat description now says wood and deadwood. Tranquilizing fingers. Habitat changed to also be soil. However, tranquilizing fingers found in the soil will not be able to give off any gas when heated, as they'll simply crumble. I think I changed that. I don't remember. I don't remember. We'll see. All right, animals. Swainson's thrush. Health increased from 5 to 35. They're not that fragile. Like, they're fragile, but they're not that fragile. And then all attacks damage increased from 0.2 to 0.5. So my design philosophy, well, first is fun. That should be the design philosophy of any game, which I think Helldivers 2 is failing to do, but I've already discussed that, and I will continue to discuss that, devs. I'm honestly kind of hopeful. I think you're cooking up something right now, but yes. So what did I want to say? Yes. Animals, their danger in my eyes should not be their raw damage output, rather their health, like how long you're fighting them, and also their inflictions, that they inflict on you. You'll see a lot of attacks that seem like they should do a lot more damage than they do, but I was thinking realistically, and I mean, it might be realistic, I don't know. And it's more of the severe bleeding that will kill you. So, yeah. Canadian Goose. Health increased from 20 to 180. Originally, the player's health was 100, which didn't make sense. I updated it. It's 200, and I might have to update it again to like 250 or something. Bite attacks damage decreased from 12.5 to 4. It's a goose beak. It shouldn't do that much damage. So, yeah. Okay, my feet are getting cold. I need to get a blanket or something. Trusty foot warmer. Because I have my window open. Why would I have my window open when it's like 20 degrees outside? 28? Because I like the fresh air, okay? My mind, I just think better when it's cold and when there's fresh air. Why? I don't know. Ask God about that. Danger level tweaked. Danger level alone decreased from 5 to 3. Split danger level in a group into small group and large group. Danger level in small group is 5. Danger level in large group is 7. Canadian Goose will now lower its head and fan out its wings to charge at the player before biting them. Which is, like, if... I'm just, like, thinking of that one AFV video where the... where the goose charged at a person and they, like, ran into a pole. But he, like, arched his neck, like, lowered his neck, arched his neck, and, like, fanned his wings. Bald-faced wasp. Sting attacks damage increased from 0.25 to 2.5. Aggression tweaked. It will not attack at first by itself or even in a group, but will attack after some time of the player standing near it, because they aren't affected by Domigrecivium and they're not that aggressive. They're not that aggressive. Unless they're near a nest, then they're aggressive, but they're not that aggressive. In a swarm, they will not attack at first, but will quickly attack the player after a few seconds of the players being near them. I think I might have changed that. I don't know. Added venom spray attack. If the player is standing still for too long while fighting near it, I did a typo. If the player is standing still for too long while fighting near it, while fighting near its nest, it will use this attack and cause blindness. If you didn't know, bald-faced wasps can actually do this. They can spray venom, which can cause temporary blindness. So beware. And I think I read on Wikipedia that they usually do this when defending their nest. This attack deals 2.5 damage, but since you're blind, you'll likely die because you don't actually know where you're going. And also, yes, this is actually something they can do. Danger level tweaked. Danger level alone, no nest, is 5. Danger level swarm, no nest, 11. Danger level alone near nest, 7. Danger level swarm near nest, 13. Mule deer. Attacks damage tweaked. Male headbutt attacks damage decreased from 65 to 20. Male and females buck attacks damage decreased from 75 to 40. Male and females health increased from 300 to 500. Babies health increased from 30 to 125. Danger level tweaked. Danger level of male increased from 11 to 13. Danger level of female increased from 9 to 11. Added kick attack for male and female, like with their front feet. They just go like, bah! If the player is in front of it, it can perform this attack, which deals 15 damage and has no inflictions. Dilophosaurus, now called something else. Danger level increased from 13 to 15. Health increased from 400 to 500. Attacks tweaked. Bite attacks tweaked. Bite attacks damage decreased from 75 to 10. I know this seems weird, but it will still be deadly. Bleeding effects now stack. Applies to all sources. Maybe they'll stack, but be halved of their value. Still be deadly, but you know. Tail whip attack tweaked. The tail whip attack's damage decreased from 60 to 15. Bodily shock is now split as minor bodily shock, moderate bodily shock, and severe bodily shock. The tail whip attack inflicts moderate bodily shock. Allosaurus. Danger level increased from 16 to 18. Health increased from 800 to infinite. Don't worry, you will still be able to defeat it in the future, but not yet. It's a temporary change. In fact, I might revert it, soon. Removed weaknesses and resistances. They're no longer a thing. Weaknesses and resistances are no longer a thing. It's more of a system that I'll get into later. Attack in episode 4, which I need to make. Attacks tweaked. Bite attacks tweaked. Damage decreased from 200 to 33.3. Now inflicts critical bleeding from severe bleeding, which deals even more damage. Stomp attack tweaked. Now inflicts critical bodily shock, even worse than severe bodily shock. initial damage decreased from 150 to 45. Continuous damage tweaked, like when it stomps on you and it like continuously does damage. Damage decreased from 65 to 20. Rate of damage decreased from every 0.33 seconds to every 1 second. Tail whip attack tweaked. Damage decreased from 90 to 35. Now inflicts severe bodily shock. I'm just reading off something. Inflictions, bodily shock. As previously mentioned in this patch, bodily shock has been given stages. Minor bodily shock's effectiveness is 10%, moderate is 20%, severe is 30%, and critical is 40%. So if I didn't say what bodily shock does, I might have, but if I didn't, bodily shock, I believe, if I can go back. Yes, a status effect that decreases attack speed, movement speed, and attack damage by X%. What I just listed. So minor is 10, moderate is 20. You get the gist. And then bodily shock can now stack, but only half the amount of the original effectiveness. For example, if the player gets inflicted with critical bodily shock twice, the first time their respective stats will be lowered by 40%, but the second time their stats will be lowered by 20. The next patch is a correction patch. No, this is a player health buff, and then balance changes and responses change. So animals will still do the same amount of damage, but the player just has more health, because it's weird to have a baby deer and a goose have more health than a fully grown human. So player health increased from 100 to 200. I might increase that more. We'll see. Most animals are receiving a 100% increase to their attack's damage to offset the 100% health buff to the player, though one animal will receive a little bit more true damage. All attacks damage increased from 0.5 to 1. That's the Swainson's Thrush. Canadian Goose, all attacks damage increased from 4 to 8. Bald-faced Wasp, seeing attacks damage increased from 2.5 to 5. Venom Spray attacks damage increased from 2.5 to 5. I'll read it, I guess, but I mean, you guys can probably just go back and double it. Mule Deer, male's headbutt attacks damage increased from 20 to 40. Male and female's buck attacks damage increased from 40 to 80. Male and female's kick attacks damage increased from 15 to 30. Dilophosaurus, bite attacks damage increased from 10 to 20. Tail whip attacks damage increased from 15 to 30. And then the Allosaurus is true damage. So bite attacks damage increased from 33.3 to 66.6. Stop attack tweaked. Initial damage increased from 45 to 100, plus 5 true damage. Continuous damage tweaked. Damage increased from 20 to 90, plus 25 true damage. Rate of damage increased from every 1 second to every 0.75 seconds. Tail whip attacks damage increased from 35 to 80, plus 5 true damage. Danger level increased from 80 to 20. That last change was only temporary. It was so basically I changed it. I changed the Allosaurus' health to infinite, or it's the Crested Mesotyrant now, but I changed its health to infinite, but its danger level remained at 18. And people in my Discord were like, if it has infinite health, then why is it only 18? And I was like, because stronger things will be added. But they were like, but this is the strongest thing right now. I don't remember exactly what they said. Let me look. Yeah, so people in my, like, 2 people, I think. No, just one person? I don't remember. One person in my Discord wanted it to be changed, and I was like, maybe looking back on it, maybe it wasn't like, basically I saw it as, well, they want it to be changed, then maybe other people would want it to be changed. And obviously I'm not the one who makes or breaks a game. The people are, because, well, I kind of am, because I'm the one developing it, but also they're the ones that play it and make it money. So, you gotta give in to the ideas of the people, because sometimes they know better than you, and not the developers. Sometimes the developers know better, but also sometimes the players know better. So that's why I changed it. It's only temporary, and I might increase the danger level cap to 25 instead of 20. We shall see about that. Yes. So now time to reveal. Wait, sorry. The exact damage of bleeding. Critical bleeding's damage is 20 damage every 0.75 seconds. Severe bleeding's damage is 15 damage every 0.75 seconds. And the moderate bleeding's damage is 5 damage every 0.75 seconds. I might have to make that less deadly. We'll see. And then Splinter and Bruised. Splinter increases damage taken by 5%, but the effect can stack. Can't be inflicted onto the player for now. I need feedback on it. Can be inflicted onto other animals by no spoilers. Bruised increases damage taken by 10%, but the effect can stack. Can be inflicted onto the player by all mule deer attacks, Dilophosaurus tail whip attack, Allosaurus's stomp and tail whip attack. Probably like falling too, you know. And then can be inflicted onto other animals by no spoilers. And yeah, and then an emergency patch that I did. Well, not emergency, but you know. Splinter now increases damage by taken by 1% instead of 5%. I messed up the values. And then Bruise now increases damage taken by 2.5% instead of 10%. And it'll probably, like, the effect will lessen. Like, it'll be halved if you get an extra one. And then the last patch. Oh boy. This is the last thing. Wow, this is the last thing of the video. This video is long, dang. Greetings, explorers. I'm back with another major patch. I don't know why I read that. Big Leaf Maple. Its leaves are now the tree leaf bandage itself, rather than a crafting ingredient for the tree leaf bandage. And then Tranquilizing Fingers. Wait a minute, isn't this a Neozoid? Nope, it's a plant now. Now classified as a plant instead of a Neozoid. To me, this just makes more sense in lore standards. Now has green fruiting bodies, because chlorophyll, you know, that's what it uses for photosynthesis. Database entry changed, lore changed. Danger level increased from 0 to a range of 0 to 17, depending on the environment. Now releases gas, even if grown in the ground. Yeah. So, double wing and false fruit fly. Now is completely incapable of flying due to mutations. It just, like, crawls on the ground. It was originally intended, like, in the lore, it was originally intended to fly kind of like a dragonfly flies. It was originally intended to fly kind of like how a dragonfly does, like, flapping 4 of its wings, but mutation made it so that it just can't. Its second pair of wings are now more visible. They are now the same size as its first pair. Swainson's Thrush. Habitat changed to also read sparsely in most areas. Database entry and survival info updated. Canadian Goose now also honks while charging at the player. Survival info updated. Bald-faced Wasps. Now only dependent in a group of 1 to 3 wasps. Now completely aggressive in a swarm instead of dependent. 1 to 3 wasps will also now have the alone danger level of 5, 7 if they are near a nest. Swarms will now have a track for being near them. Database entry and survival info updated. Mule deer. Females are now fully aggressive if a baby is present. Males now have a track for being near them. Survival info updated. Double-crested erectosaur. Name changed from Dilophosaurus to double-crested erectosaur due to lore. The reason the name was changed is because when the company created dinosaurs, they only made them as a sort of generalization of multiple dinosaur genera, which is a plural for genus, which if you say Triceratops, you're not saying a species, you're saying a genus of multiple dinosaurs. If you said Triceratops horridus, that is the binomial name of a dinosaur in the genus of Triceratops. Dinosaurs don't really have common names, like bird. They just have binomial names, like correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one like a crow in real life is like Corvus corvax. It's in the genus of Corvus, but its species name is Corvus corvax. I could be wrong on that though. I might be. Anyways, swarms now have a track for being near them. Database entry and survival info updated. I already said that. Erectosaur. So, thus more fitting names had to be given. Though you could realistically still call the Erectosaur a Dilophosaurus since they both have two crests, because Dilophosaurus means double-crested lizard. Erectosaur means upright lizard, because erect is up, and saur is lizard. Tail whip now inflicts moderate bodily shock instead of severe. Database entry changed. Crested Mesotyrant now name changed from Allosaurus to Crested Mesotyrant due to lore. Same reason as the Dilophosaurus or Erectosaur. And I also changed it from Allosaurus because it's not really different. It's just a big Erectosaur. So now it's a Mesotyrant, as in middle tyrant. Now has a track for being near it. Database entry changed. Survival info updated. Okay, miscellaneous changes. Damage types removed. Weaknesses and resistances removed. This may be controversial to some of you. Probably isn't. But I just think the damage system I have in mind for the future is more immersive and realistic than the damage type / weaknesses and resistances system. Oh my gosh, that's it. I'm just kidding. I still have one more thing. Because I made an animal specifically for this video. The American black bear. Hooray. In all seriousness, I had a lot of fun making this, and I just wanted to include this just as a little bonus thing. So, its aggression is aggressive. Its track, so that it has tension. And it also has combat tracks for when you start, and the looping part of it, when you're just fighting it, and then the end. It's called Ursine Wrath. That's the best I could think of. Habitat. Grasslands, deciduous forests, mixed forests, and coniferous forests. Health, 600. Attacks. So it has 3 different sets of attacks because it can climb, it can swim, and it can walk. So land attacks. So the bite, it has a bite that deals 45 damage and inflicts severe bleeding. Claw swipe does 12.5 damage and inflicts severe bleeding. And bruised as well. Bruising. Physical overcome, like when it just like rears up and then just like bam, kind of pounces on you, but it's not a pounce because it's not jumping. You know what I mean? I hope. It deals 15 damage. Moderate bleeding. It has moderate bleeding. It has severe bodily shock, and it inflicts bruise. So a lot of stuff. Charging physical overcome, same thing, same inflictions, but it deals 20 damage instead of 15 for the regular one. A maul, 55 damage per 0.6 seconds. The maul inflicts severe bleeding, and yeah, so basically if it hits you with the physical overcome attack, then you'll be stuck in a maul where you have to spam your space bar to get out. Yeah. So harvests. I'll go over that now, just as a little taste. Bear fur, black bear fur. So all bear fur will be the same. The colors is just for cosmetics. So bear fur, and then in parentheses black. Supreme bear tooth, supreme bear claw, bear skin. I won't go over what they do, but that's what you can harvest from them. For its appearance, it's a medium, large-sized bear. It can be identified by its completely black coat of fur. American black bears mostly roam their large territory in search of food, mostly eating plants, though occasionally feeding on animals like wasps, and even more occasionally, larger animals like mule deer. They will sometimes rub their backs on trees, bite or claw at trees, seek out water to drink, bathe in water, and climb trees to seek out more food. You know what? I completely forgot about the swimming attacks and climbing attacks. So, surface water bite and underwater bite, 45 damage, and severe bleeding, obviously. Underwater claw swipe. I should probably decrease the damage because it's underwater and you can't swing as fast. Huh. Now that you think about it, that would be a really good idea. Um, right now it's 12.5, and it inflicts bruised. Bruised. It inflicts bruised and severe bleeding. I'll change that. And then climbing attacks, like if you're climbing a tree, climbing bite, 45 damage, severe bleeding, and then climbing claw swipe, 12.5 damage, bruised, severe bleeding. Hooray. So, when engaged in combat, it has 5 attacks on land. So sorry. It has the attacks that I mentioned. So it has 2 phases. In phase 1, like when it first sees you, the fight starts with the bear being somewhat haphazard with its attacks. The most frequent attack in this phase is the physical overcome, occasionally swiping and biting at the player in between this attack. The bear will often perform its bite attack quickly after performing its claw swipe attack. If the player is hit by the physical overcome, they will be immobilized while the bear mauls them. To escape the maul, continuously spam the jump button while pressing the movement keys at the right time to avoid the biting attacks, the maul. Getting out of the maul will deal damage to the bear depending on the weapon equipped, or if you have a weapon at all. So like you can punch it and deal like not a lot of damage. If the bear sees the player from a decent distance away, it will perform its charging physical overcome attack. If it is swimming or climbing, it will have variations. Yeah. And then once the bear drops below 500 health, so it has 600, once it drops below 500, it will enter phase 2, in which it will slowly and cautiously strafe around the player, similar to the player's very own strafing tactics. The strafe will be broken up every few seconds by an attack. By an attack. It will perform its claw swipe and bite attack more than its physical overcome. This cautious behavior carries over to if it's swimming or climbing as well. And I assume, like, same thing, if it swipes, then it'll quickly do a bite in quick succession. And then it's aggressive towards the player and it'll attack it on sight. It will start pursuing the player from a decent distance away so long as it can see them. They will also track the player down from a somewhat far distance due to their heightened sense of smell. Nothing stops the bear from attacking the player unless it or the player is defeated, the player escapes its line of sight for long enough, or the player strays far enough away from its territory. That's basically every aggressive animal ever. Interaction with other animals. American black bears will occasionally seek out animals to hunt, such as wasps and deer. Most animals will avoid it, though. So, yeah. The American black bear can be harvested for its fur, teeth, claws, and skin. It is not advised to use the animal to deter other animals, as it has an incredible sense of smell. So don't use it like the Mesotyrant or Allosaurus. Get used to me saying Mesotyrant, because that's what it's called. Don't use it like that, because it can smell you. Strategy, non-combat. Avoiding the black bear largely comes down to your knowledge of where it's located. Avoiding its aforementioned habitat will usually ensure you never encounter it. If you are unlucky enough to have it spot you, not much can be done, because it's a bear. Encountering it at the edge of its territory and then leaving its territory is really the only defense in this situation. Don't try to climb, swim, or run away from it, as it can outpace you in all of these fields. The American black bear is extremely dangerous, so this is the combat section, but can be overcome. The best weapons against the bear are sharp ones, and it has a low bleed resistance. The best way to start your assault is by approaching it from behind. This will deal an extra 25% damage to the bear, potentially skipping it right to the next phase. So yeah, there will be an ambush mechanic. Yeah. If it sees you before you can sneak attack it, be very active. It will attempt to overcome you a lot, so choosing the right time to attack is crucial. The best time to attack would be right after it performs its physical overcome attack, as it leaves the bear open from behind. The window of opportunity is short, so act fast to get a hit or two in. Once it enters its second phase, simply dodge out of the way of its attacks when it strikes to give yourself a chance to strike. When it strikes to give yourself a chance to strike. For those who may not be experienced with close-up combat, arrows can be, or darts, can be a good way to chip down the bear's health from a distance. But remember, it's faster than you, so it's a short-term solution. So, database entry and survival info. Wait. Did I add this? Add it to the game. It's weird. Why does it say? Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. So first, the trivia. In the very early days of expedition development, the American black bear was one of the first animals to be conceptualized mechanically. It's way different now, but that was like one of the first, if not the first, animal I truly came up with. So database entry: the American black bear, Ursus americanus, is a medium-large sized bear that primarily lives in North America, though some bears do reside in high northern Mexico. It is named, quite obviously, for its coat of black fur, which covers almost its entire body. Contrary to popular belief, it, along with other bears, has a primarily vegetarian diet, which I learned ironically from a Helldivers YouTuber, Nate's Gamebox. I love his videos. Rarely consuming animals. Its typical diet consists of berries, roots, and other parts of plants. Remember, I get a lot of this information from Wikipedia, so take this with a grain of salt. Probably not that much. I mean, it's probably fine, but when it does seek after animals for food, it eats deer, insects, moose, meese, fish, and others. Its relationship with humans throughout history have been mixed, with some positive and some negative. It was one of the main dangers in the threat of expansion era, primarily in North America, especially because it was already adapting to the human encroachment prior to the era. So, yeah. Survival info: know where its territory is and stay away from it. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it can't see you. It has an incredible sense of smell. Don't try to run away from it. It's faster than you. Don't try to get away from it by climbing a tree or going into water. It can outpace you in both. If it sees you, your only hope is to fight. Try to lodge a sharp object at its facial region, especially the cranium and mouth. And that, oh boy, that was a long video, and that is all. This is a podcast, basically. This is basically a podcast where I just go over expedition stuff. I might turn this into a podcast. I'll see how you guys think. And yeah, basically no images. This is what it is. But yeah, oh my, that was a lot, and it was fun. I'm glad to get this over with. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I do want to upload episode 4. I don't know when that's going to happen, but it'll happen eventually. But anyways, freedom in Christ, and I'll see you guys next time.